and I go out of the body, and I see there's hundreds of galactic beings together. Everything you're all gone through, you will see that none of this will matter. Ultimately, none of it will matter for what is coming through. It is imminent.
They said it's going to be intergenerational leadership, and that was the exact word. It's a word that's going to unlock stuff for people subconsciously, is simply the word intergenerational.
AI energy that is absolutely absence of intelligence and has the ability to lock on into the central nervous system and being able to read and project everything what you want to see. So there's no intelligence there, there's nothing intuitive about it. And it's something reflecting into the living aura of every human beings, only if they choose to really feel it and embrace that part of humanity.
Beautiful humans, welcome back on Just Tap In. As you can see, once again, we are in a new environment today. We are currently at the New Living Expo in California. And as I promised you guys, we were going to continue this format of convergence. I believe that right now we are in a moment in time where it is our opportunity to bring together a lot of voices together for this ascension, for this awakening. So today I'm joined with JJ Brighton and Viviane Chauvet. It's an honor to have you both here. And I know that today we're going to go in many multidimensional directions, but excited to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's really wonderful to be here.
Always love a convergence. Love this style. Love.
Good convergence. And speaking of convergence, I know you both have received a lot of different things around what convergence is right now on the planet. Essentially, do you both believe you're tuning into the same event from different perspectives? What is this convergence that's happening on the planet right now?
For me, it's about time. It's about time and space converging in this sort of now moment for humanity, where we're not only converging, but harmonizing. We're in a great field of harmonization. We have the opportunity to do that. We could see it more like a project than like a destiny. But the more I think that we talk about what it is and how it works, I think the more on board we can get people to understand and not get into a dysregulated state about the events, but say, hey, this is all part of the game. This is part of it. And the outcome is going to be really amazing if we can just hold that frequency of love and openness and surrender to this moment of, honestly, timeline collapse, even though that word sounds a little scary. But I prefer, convergence. I think that feels better in my system. And so that's how I see it.
It's an interesting word. You have to understand that convergence become a placeholder. And from a linguistic field perspective, it's a placeholder that gives everyone an opportunity to release themselves from the polarity field, releasing themselves to go beyond circumstances, stories, identities, everything that has been so much integrated and accepted as a projected reality. What we're seeing is there's a point of converging into integration. It's about understanding that part of the 3D personality self converging in divine union with this other infinite part of ourselves. Whether you identify as a starseed, a light worker, an ancient soul, an earthbound, an angelic being, a fairy, regardless. For us, is you're shifting into a point of reintegration. And at then we see that more and more. And then we see that also in the timelines, kind of movement in the timelines, where everyone is given a choice on a conscious soul level to decide what reality are you preparing yourself for. And that could be also a form of individual and global convergence.
When I was tuning into both of your energies, I was realizing that you're both on a very similar journey coming from different perspectives. Whereas we have JJ, who you grew up in the system with religion. You also, I've mentioned many times, have 8 children. But as you were in that journey, you started remembering multidimensional aspects of yourself in this human experience. Whereas with Vivian, you already came in knowing this galactic seeding that you are part of, this hybridization, that is now having a human experience. So it's like a very similar journey from very different points of view and perspectives that I just love to explore with both of you, how that's been personally.
Thank you. Yes. Yes. Unlike your journey, I was never exposed to religion, and I don't have biological children because I'm not here to procreate. I'm here to, how could I say that, assist humanity to reach its future ascended self. We're here to oversee the future aspect of you in a timeline that we call the reascension one. So for me, is I'm a galactic being having a 3D personality self experiencing this life here. So I'm looking through the mirror glass, so to speak, through the eyes of this visitor. And I grew up in a family where our family was very in tune with galactic beings, talking, going on board a ship, even to this day, having portal opening is part of our natural day-to-day life. So of course I love the perspective, and I love the humanity part of it as well, because it is important. We need to bring it back in. And it's really about returning to each other, like the galactic communities are eager, so to speak. We are eager to see the human race returning to us as we are returning to you. So it's a really much of our reunion in that convergence. So I love that beautiful complementary and a flow of synergy that it creates as well, won't you say, right?
I totally agree. It's super fascinating to me. I had a huge aha moment the other day. I do work a lot with galactic beings, and that is my tendency. When I was not in this framework, I tended to see myself as, really connecting with spirit, with angelic beings, feeling the what's out there, God. And I really appreciate my humanity now more than I ever have before. In fact, the other day I made a mistake on my Instagram. I gave some erroneous information about a crystal, which sounds really kind of like not a big deal. But I just said a crystal wasn't the crystal it was. And I sat there and I was like, what are people going to think? Like, I channel, like I have access to all the information in the world and I'm making a mistake about what this crystal was. They did look exactly alike, by the way. I'm not a crystal expert by any stretch of the imagination. And I could feel my team, even my galactic team, and I work a lot with the Arcturians as well. That's part of my lineage. I mean, they were like, yay, you're making yourself relatable. You're doing such an amazing job at being human. Like, when you see your imperfection, there's a certain degree of imperfection you're always going to feel like you have on Earth. And that's the only way you're going to be able to bridge the consciousness of your cosmic family to the consciousness of humanity. And that's what they love about humanity, is the flaws. When you have that veil of forgetting, it makes the game fun. And they actually have shown me, like, we intentionally created this experience with these blinders, forgetting to a certain degree, so that you could make mistakes. Because before that, yeah, everything was in perfection, quote unquote. And now you're adventuring through this. So it really kind of, I know I've known this before, but I don't know what happened. It just hit me like a ton of bricks, like to celebrate my humanity more and to stop beating myself up, because I'm kind of a recovering perfectionist in a lot of ways. I think that's like my Arcturians. Arcturians are very accurate about everything, information. And I know there's a level of that where where I feel there's something about either that lineage or something, maybe it's ancestral, I don't know, where I feel there's a level of accuracy to things. And so things are lined up and things make sense. And so when something gets thrown in the mix that's with 8 kids happens literally on a daily basis, it's a growth edge for me, which I appreciate. Vivian mentioned the idea of, our global ascension, reascension, I love that word, and also our personal. And so I see that happening at the same time for me. And I see myself, and I appreciate that also you said what your template was, because I think we've talked about this several times whenever I come and chat with you. We're talking about templates, really owning your template, honoring your template. I honor her template and the template they hold as well. As, we've talked about all these different things. And mine, I just immediately heard bridge, bridge. It's all about bridging that cosmic consciousness into humanity, and the different aspects of my life allow me to be that bridge, is how I see it. So
Yeah, I'd love to get into there more around. Obviously, we've talked with Vivian before around her very intimate connection with the Arcturians, and you're also a galactic team as well, filled with other beings as well. What do you both see that they're witnessing right now for humanity? What, at this moment where we're at right now, the galactic teams, what have they been feeding you in terms of the direction that this is going for humanity?
Well, there's many directions in the sense of you feel in your heart. It's really an invitation. And I just want just to bring a little bit, and I appreciate your human perspective on us. It's not so much that we're perfectionists. It may appear that this way to you, and we appreciate that from a human perspective. But when you have reached the level of evolution over millions of years, that we are millions of years old as a civilization, you will understand that it's more of a resonance field rather than perfections. We are such in a way that we know how to be in complete harmonic communication with each other. We have the ability to share more innermost energy, our essence. Imagine for a moment, there's just this conversation here. If we could, instead of going through perspective, personality, and words, instead sharing our innermost aspect of our essence, it will completely shift the dynamic of what the energy of it, the experience behind it. So this is what we do. Whether we are with the Many-Star Regency Council or the Spiritual Hierarchy Council in charge of overseeing this earth. And from the perspective of being many ancient beings within the great galactic light forces, we exist outside of your space-time. We exist outside of this physical duality, and yes, experimental, like you mentioned, I love that experimental life journey. So, of course, our perspective through what the journey is for human beings, we're seeing a magnificent return to finally merge again back with the divine aspect of who you are. So, indeed, a veil of forgetfulness was put in place after the fall of Atlantis by the spiritual hierarchy in an agreement with the galactic light forces. It was put in place to protect the souls and to prevent something similar to re-happening again, what happened after the fifth cycle of Atlantis, leading up to the golden age of Egypt. And that veil is thinning out. There's no more need for learning so much from it anymore, and that's the exciting news of it. So what we are seeing is an opportunity to ultimately retrieve the full aspect of your soul memories. Can you imagine living your life fully understanding who you are, and yet still embracing 100% this physical form? And we encourage you, like you mentioned, in your own beautiful way. You mentioned that it is here for you to experiment. Like for us, we learn because the ambassador, Vivian, that you know her as, she's one of us. She's a being. She's a galactic Arcturian being. And then her essence, returning to this hybrid humanized form, allowing all of us to remember what it feels like to be a profound energy, the essence of human being. And that's what we see. That is the opportunity. Rise to it. Be with us. The invitation is on the table, open with an open heart. It's about to finally remembering the full facet of who you are. And then we can talk about a universal concept and secret and archives, and all of it will be completely open to you. Everything is available to you. But it's you moving through that veil, so to speak. And it's just a metaphor, but it's a beautiful metaphor. So
the soul memories must return first until all of these other things open up to Primanu. Hello, beautiful family. Quick one today. I just wanted to take a moment to thank each and every one of you that have subscribed to this channel. Your subscription means more than you know. Even though it's free, what you're doing is you're empowering a whole channel to be able to do this every single day and continue showing up in the way that we can with all of our resources on hand.
Thank you for contributing to the growth of this channel, for sharing it with the people that you love, for creating a conscious movement of individuals that are seeking the sovereignty and the divinity of their soul. This is why we're here. And if you haven't already and you're enjoying this content, I invite you now to look below on that little button that says subscribe and welcome you properly to this community. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being who you are and being pure love and radiating that with everyone that you see. Back to the episode.
Like the archives that you were mentioning.
It's in parallel. It's happening, all of it, because we are multidimensional beings, right? It's all unfolding now. The more you're tuning in into embracing it, like you mentioned, JJ, about embracing your essence as a human being, you understand what it feels like to be a galactic being, a cosmic citizen, a universal child of the universe, infinite being. You are eternal. You just have forgotten about it. And we're helping you gently and sometimes loudly and sometimes with different ways to guide you in that direction. It says, would you listen? So it's everything becomes an invitation every day, in every moment, to retrieve more and more of the aspect of who you are. So it's not about you go there first and then the door open. It's all unfolding together. Would you say?
Mhm.
Feel that in everything,
Absolutely.
right?
Remembrance is a huge theme for me too. And I feel it's interesting when you talk about our teams, right? As I was getting here, I was tuning in knowing that I had the opportunity to connect with beautiful Arcturians. And they were there from the very beginning of my journey. And I love them so much. And there are many different Arcturians when you say that, though, because they laugh. Like, there are so many different kinds of that hold that frequency, or that we could say have that name. But I so much appreciate and honor them. When I was tuning into was like, who am I bringing today? Because we are multidimensional. And so then you're like, okay, like I do feel a specific frequency wanting to come through over the last little bit. It's very much tied to the Divine Mother. And the Divine Mother is 100% obviously encoded in my human template, just from my life, you know, like the way that I'm living and having a big family in this particular lifetime, in this incarnation. And so beyond that, I've really been working with the Star Mothers, because they are right here waiting for humanity to continue to remember and comfort us as we open to our cosmic ancestry, you could say. What I heard and felt as we were just talking just now, and the beautiful message that you shared, I was just hearing almost like a key code. For me, a key code is kind of like a mantra, or like a golden nugget, pearl of wisdom. The old way was to seek for remembrance outside yourself. The new way, or the way that we're doing this now, or the way that I think so many of us are operating now, is to remind people that the remembrance comes from inside of you. Let me give an example that I think will make sense to people. I was raised in organized religion. Organized religion is still in some way, shape, or form telling you like you're remembering who you are, right? It's still about like who you are, why you came here, how all this works. It's explaining cosmology, but from more of a dogmatic position where it's structured and it's outside you. And this book says this is how it is. And this person says this is how it is. And I think there was, I mean, if I were to peel back the layers and actually feel into it, what I'm sensing from the Star Mothers is to have compassion on even those who created religion. What they were trying to do, I think there was a fear that we would remember too much and that we would repeat what we did in Atlantis. And so then it's like, well, we have to put these parameters up. We have to create these structured belief systems so that people can't go too outside the lines and make mistakes like we have before. But I think we're slowly releasing our fear that that's going to happen again. We're realizing this is different this time, and people are just done. They're just done with the narratives that your authority is outside of you, or that you have to seek something outside of you. And to her point about the Arcturians coming forward, which I love the way that they mentioned the field of resonance. And for me, it's like, as you're tuning in, you're like, yeah, they don't come in like, oh, we're higher than you, we're more perfect than you, we're better than you. That's not the way that our galactic family is stepping forward to show up. They see us as like, you could say colleagues, but family, equals. They see all aspects of creation as having their beautiful, unique frequencies. And they're just looking, they're just seeing it as connection, where I think sometimes in maybe the more majority of people that are sort of seeing Hollywood portray aliens is like they have all the answers and the savior stuff comes in from religion again. But that's not why we're seeking the contact, in my opinion. Like, I feel like at our core, we're going, that's where we came from. We're reconnecting to our family. So all those kinds of messages are coming in right now.
I do want to speak on how our contact with non-human intelligences is evolving right now. But you were mentioning the divine mothers, the children. That's something that I did want to bring in and tie together around the new way is going to be led by the future generations. And I'm wondering what you've seen, both of you, from the perspective of the children, of these new ways of thinking, these new ways of being that are actually going to become templates for our civilization in the years to come.
Well, I want to honor generations of starseed of children. I think one of the things that's going to be very important is to reharmonize and bring it together, all generations, whether they're 80-year-old. I mean, I have clients who are 88 years old and they're very much engaged on their path. Others are in their mid-70s, others in their 60s, all the way down to maybe 10 years old. So it's about recognizing that you are a star child in the sense that for generations, whether it's being World War II, whether it's back in the 1950s, 60s, all the way to today, there's been generations of souls that are returning to anchor very specific frequencies, representing a multitude of sentient beings and ancient civilization for many solar systems, interstellar groups everywhere. So yes, the generations that may be coming from the last 10 years or so, but it's also they need guidance. They're going to need a guidance of those who open the pathway, pave the pathway, learn from the mistakes, understanding also what it feels like to be in these human forms. What we have been seeing is that these children are coming in. They have no veil. There's no need for them to carry a veil. They understand who they are. They can be sitting in a classroom seeing either, loved ones or guides or their star family standing next to them and would say, well, your grandmother is there talking with you right now. Or they remember the time where they were maybe high priest or architect of the grid system of the planet. And they remember coming back here to bring into the next level. And I said, it's a time where we need to bring all these generational of star children so we can learn from one another. I personally work with generations where they were children during World War II in Germany and how it has impacted them. At the same time, there's still this original spark of remembrance of where they came in for that specific generation of lineage, whether it's genetic, whether it's DNA, whether it's the time of where the planet was, whether it's historical, whether it's societal. And these generations of star seed are feeling, some of them feel isolated, others feel more engaged. So I think I would love personally, and this is me talking, being on the planet and seeing and working with so many people, thousands of people around the world of all ages. I think we need to bring back all these beautiful generational of star seeds and then being able to bring the support of the younger generations who come as really strong archetypes, engineers, anchor point. They're here to really push us forward, but they need a guidance to understand how to navigate through this lifetime, to be encouraged instead of being repressed, to being able to be guided also with what it feels like to be human, whether it's social ethics, whether it's communication, whether it's behavior, whether it's, how to express himself. We can see opportunity in that guidance. In my group, of course, and many others. I mean, we got the Andromedans, the Lyrans, the High Council of Sirians, the Antarians, and when there's so many, or all coming together. I would like to share something phenomenal happened a few days ago, if I may, because it's all tied up with what we were talking. So thank you. April 11, 2026, we're getting ready to come to the New Living Expo where we are here right now, right? And I've been called, my Arcturine father called me, says, you must go outside in your yard and stand in the middle of the yard and look up in the sky. There's something going on. So I go outside at night and I just, in my yard, and we had this beautiful 50 feet tall tree, I call it the guardian, in the yard. And the guardian says, okay, ground your roots. With Gaia, the earth is going to take you, and then hold your body in form. You're going to exit your body. So I'm standing on my feet up in my yard, eyes up on the sky, and I can feel my root system being grounded in the tree nations are holding me. And I go out of the body, and I see there's hundreds of galactic beings are gathered. And they said the galactic life forces have gathered because we are seeing as there's something profoundly shifting on the planet is imminent. And you will see that everything you're all going through from a third dimensional perspective, whether it's polarity, dualistic, whether it's programming, whether it's challenges, everything you're going through, you will see that none of this will matter. Ultimately, none of it will matter for what is coming through. It is imminent. And they were very adamant about talking. They can feel, not only in my group, but there were so many others that you have no idea who they are because you forgot about them. They don't even have names or designations.
Where were they gathering?
They're gathering into this beautiful higher dimensional space, but it's more than that. It's a gathering. When the light forces come, we always gather with the spiritual hierarchy council. So it's not a place, it's more of an energy. It's where we come together. And there was hundreds of them. And I felt these beams of light entering my etheric body. I can feel to my spine these codes of frequency coming in, transmitting into the ground, right into the grids. And I knew in my heart and in my soul that we're about, it's just so coming, it's like, it's imminent, like they said, that there's a shift. It's almost like Gaia is shifting, like a caterpillar moving into a transformation, moving into a butterfly energy, shifting. She's shedding this layer of herself, and we're moving into what we call the organic higher timeline for the reascension. We're moving in that direction. There's a magnetizing energy coming through where so many souls on the planet and off planet knew and feel called. There's a soul calling, and there's a convergence, to use your word. It's coming. But with me physically, imagine me standing outside in a yard at night, standing still. My body is being held literally, and I'm on and off planet, communicating, coming in and bringing in. It brought me so much joy. So much joy because we have reached that point. For generations of children of starseed, all soul ancient ones, returning in incarnation, coming back to liberate the souls who have been trapped in the lower astral field of the planet. And we're finally releasing ourselves from this. And the assistance, the love, the guidance, everything is available. Everything we need is available. But when I see a great gathering this way, it's because I know that it's already happening. From a 3D perspective, we feel like it's coming, but it's already happening because there's no time. And it brought such validation about everything that we all do, all the work everyone we've been doing for generations, including those who have returned to the planet now. And I felt this grand universal joy, embedded into the heart and soul of billions of sentient life form here on the planet. Remember, we're here for all life form. So thank you for allowing me to share this. It just happened a few days ago.
I feel it.
Thank you for sharing, man.
I feel it. I really, really do. I actually have the Star Mothers are coming forward with some language of light, a little transmission to help us. I feel like you sharing that, I could really feel the energy. I have no doubt that everybody listening is feeling, and I have no doubt you are. I just feel like this moment of integration, like you said, convergence is also integration, but like just taking a deep breath. And this little bit of language is coming. Kare I to ini kiai ke tse tumbur ila hei te ke shai gar anduji. Si ini kiti soko hoi hea. Dal ar it na e ko kir ar hai itunusha. Kiar ai tu uya. Nai hi. Tare ea toko hea. Shoya. And I just feel like a message of be at peace. Just like a be at peace, but I also feel joy and peace. Joy and peace is coming in. And I have to say, as one final little comment to that, I'm just sitting in that field for just a moment, feeling my heart. Emilio, when you asked the question a moment ago about the children leading, the Star Mothers actually came in and they were like, we have a small correction for him. And it was exactly what she said. So I had it in my head that after she shared, I would share this thing. Well, as soon as she opened her mouth, she was sharing exactly what I felt. They said it's going to be intergenerational leadership. So when you said the children are going to lead, they're like, not exactly. It's going to be intergenerational leadership. And that was the exact word. The word that's a key code right now, huge key code, which is like, it's a word that's going to unlock stuff for people subconsciously, is simply the word intergenerational.
That's exactly what I said.
Intergenerational, just like that. If we continue to hold space, and I don't care if you're a channeler or in this world or if you're in another workplace thing, whatever we can do to foster intergenerational dialogue, intergenerational leadership, intergenerational spaces. This is why the Star Mothers came in over a year ago when I had Star Mothers Worldwide. We had over 1,000 people in Star Mothers Worldwide, and they said it's time it's been 9 months, exactly 9 months. It's time to bring Star Mothers Worldwide to completion, because that is the divine feminine template, which again, I hold this divine mother frequency, but they said, we are here to hold space for the divine family template, because it's not just about the mothers or the fathers or the children or the grandfathers or the grandmothers. It's about everybody. It's about all the generations and the whole entire family. So that's just kind of how I see it playing out. But obviously there's going to be this expansion, to your point, by the way, because I think you are tapping into something really important of creating spaces and environments to help children expand and feel safe in expressing their remembrance. Because when they go to school every day, they may not feel safe that they remember X, Y, and Z. That's not being talked about. So creating spaces where they can safely talk about and they feel comfortable talking. I mean, I say this with my own kids, so.
Has there ever been a space that you've held with your children? And also, Vivian, if you want to add in there, where they've expressed remembrances that have completely left you in awe around what they were bringing through?
It's going to happen one-on-one, parent to child or caretaker to child predominantly. Most people will be like, well, most kids aren't going to stand on a stage or get a mic in their face and share this stuff. It has to be done in quiet moments with like people who love them, to hold that space. And that does happen to me frequently. Even though my children, if you just point blank ask them, this isn't their thing, because they're tweenage and teenage boys. Like, that is the demographic that's like no to all this, stuff, because they're really leaning into their other things, earthly things. But it's like, yes. And there's these templates dropping in while I'm here at the New Living Expo. I opened our workshop up to kids, because what I'm feeling is a template dropping in to help kids be able to articulate the memories. And so, yeah, all the time, things are happening. Yeah.
In regard to the children, because I do have 3 stepchildren at home, And I've been working with families, for over 15 years plus. The space, yes. But one thing that's going to be very important is unplugging the children from technology. Remove them from their virtual environment. It really diminished their natural, organic, intuitive centers and ability to really relay on more social dynamic or organic like this one, like here. Unplug them from AI. And it's really about cultivating and encouraging that imagination field, opening that, because the brain's functions, our higher brain functions, are designed to really open the field on a universal level and to bring in not only transmission, frequency, the sound, waves, and all these interstellar instructions coming even outside of the Milky Way. The brain is designed to receive those and being able to facilitate and naturally enhance the natural quality and gift, or the innate gifts or the dormant gifts. But when we see, especially even children, even in their mid-20s, whether they're 23, 21, 19, and all the way down to, as far out you want to go, one phenomenon we've seen is the outcoming of that AI energy that is absolutely absence of intelligence, that has the ability to lock on into the central nervous system and being able to read and project everything what you want to see. So there's no intelligence there. There's nothing intuitive about it. And we see that the newer generations, backing up by the other generation that we talk about now, this family dynamics, is being able to encourage them to be powerful and being able to explore all these dormant abilities, whether it's in dream states. I've seen my stepdaughter be super creative. She expressed herself through the arts. She is very prolific. Nobody taught her. It's innate in her. And I can read some aspect of her soul akashic level, what influenced her at the soul level. I have another one, he's a dormant star seed, but is very dormant. Is not ready to embrace that just yet. Boy, he's a dormant star seed. He comes to me in astral, and he introduced himself when I first met his father, and I know, but he's not ready. I told him, I'm going to be here when you're ready. But it's too much ingrained into social dynamics is to the virtual reality. I have friends online. I interact this way, plug into the computer and the gaming. It can be fun, but you have to bring a balance. So there's a little bit of mindfulness to bring to the children today, that you have to really see there's a little course correction, as we call it, and redirect it to more go play outside, go play in nature, go interact with your friend in person, go connect, learn to develop those social skills so you can have the verbiage to express yourself and you feel worthy. We feel there's a lack of self-love, self-confidence also, because when you plug yourself in this virtual reality all the time, it doesn't bring back the feedback that you need to really let you grow the way your soul was meant to grow. And so we want to add these layers because we see that a lot. And I talk a lot with parents who have children, with the boys and girls, and they have the same problem. The same concern is expressed to us a lot about the overly excessive use of technology that way. So I think that's an opportunity to bring, like we talk about in other generations, of guidance to help them says, but what about your intuition? What does your gut feeling tell you? What is that dream you've been talking about? Or this peripheral vision you've been seeing? Can you tell us more? Because we want to know that the world is safe enough. There's a structure, there's some of us who've been here before you. So we paved the way so you can express yourself. But technology is never the answer. Consciousness is. Then you can understand what technology to incorporate with this. And that's one thing I think is very important to bring back.
That is adding a completely new layer. And I did want to hear your perspectives on it with AI. Obviously, you both are connected with these galactic teams and councils that are highly advanced. And I also wanted to tune in there around what is their current relationship with the technologies they developed, and how is it different than what we're developing with AI currently?
Mhm. Uh, well, to piggyback on what they said, I really feel like what's coming in for me because um, I understand what the kids are inundated with, quote unquote. But I also have felt this really interesting sense of peace that they're wired to navigate this particular time with a little bit of nudging and facilitating of, environments and things. And what I really felt happening as I was connecting with this idea of AI, for me, I see just zooming out a little bit and prioritizing the talking about consciousness, the big picture stuff. Because, like, I know with my kids across the board, I can do all of the behavioral corrections, take away the devices, take away the gaming and all that kind of thing. But I think they deserve more than what was done for me, which was just like, punishment, the behavior type thing. It's like my husband, Michael, you know him, he's trained as a marriage and family therapist. He has a background in psychology. And he always reminds me because I'll tend to react how I was raised, well, how a lot of us were raised, which is just like this immediate correct the behavior, like take it away, punish in this. And he's like, listen, it's about relationship. If you build a relationship with the child and then you talk to them about the big picture, it's shocking to me how many ideas they actually have about managing themselves, about managing their how much they're gaming, how they actually feel when they're gaming versus when they're outside playing, like talking to them about this kind of thing, bringing them into the conversation. I feel like we could do better in that area. I mean, myself included. I think we could do better in asking them what they would do if they were us and how they see things. I just feel like there's something there that that hasn't been modeled for us in a really long time in society with regards to giving them, like you were mentioning, our children leading. Well, they're definitely at the table where they haven't been, or at least in an ideal situation in this realm of 5D, New Earth, however you want to say it. Yes, there's a place at the table for them. And it's not just like this little place. It's like showing up as equals to us. And that, like, just talking about this is reminding me. And I feel like there's probably people who are going to listen who know, like, what's the kids are doing, and what's out there. It's like, oh my gosh, it could be so frustrating. Like, seriously, shoveling during a snowstorm, there's just more and more and more and more. How do we manage it? You zoom way out and you talk big principle and you talk values, and things like that. And then that will dictate their behavior. You don't have to sit and micromanage the behavior. That's kind of how I see it.
In an ideal situation, yes, but as a step parent, I can tell you that's not as easy as it sounds.
Well, yeah,
Because
there's a balance.
yeah,
I have no doubt.
but I appreciate what you're saying for sure. No, absolutely. I think that another key word we can introduce to that is communication.
Yeah.
I always say it's like a field. Think of it like you're a gardener, right? And whether you are a biological parent, a step parents, where you adopted, a caretaker, a grandparent, whoever, there's many ways to become a parent, right? There's many ways to have children upon your care. And I'm very happy to be a step parent. It's a very important role. But it's like being a gardener. So I always tell with my stepchildren, I may not have been with you from the beginning, but I'm with you from where we have started. And I'm going to see you all the way up, as long as I'm going to be on the planet. I'm a strong figure for them. And I love the communication. I stimulate that between siblings. Whether you're 3, 4, 5, 8, 10, no matter how many you are, communication, support each other, be kind, be benevolent in your communication, be patient with yourself and with your siblings. I think that would be also a beautiful element to add to facilitate that movement of relationship. And I love that word because it is a strong word. It is exactly also what your galactic brothers and sisters want to cultivate with you, relationship. Return to us. We return to you. So sitting with the children, we want to communicate, but there needs to be a place for listening, because communication is to be receptive and there's a transmission to it, right? So that true energy. So I think we're going in the right direction in the sense that the more we are reintegrating different generations into that communication, relationship, partnership, collaboration, understanding. And I do that with my stuff every day and going, the first thing I will do when they say something to me and go, I see your point. I understand where you're coming from. That's interesting. Thank you for teaching me. I will connect and will understand, feel, I listen, I acknowledge. And I will say every night after dinner, okay, anybody online tonight? Yes. Oh, fun. Who are you talking tonight? Oh, that friend. Okay. That person from Colombia, that person from US, that person. Okay, fun. Already. Well, enjoy your communications. I bring that kind of dynamics, and I think we're all doing, from the heart what we can. But I think we're moving we're moving naturally and organically in a convergence. And I think this is, for me, the biggest takeaway right now. And trust of yourself. Trust is love yourself. You have self-love. You have self-worth. You have self-acceptance of who you are. Then being able to convey that to somebody else is second nature. And that includes your children and your grandchildren, depending on. So, yeah, I'm grateful that thanks to my husband, I became a stepmom.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I wouldn't know that unique experience.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
And speaking of organics, you both travel around the world. I know Vivian is just coming back from Nepal. I don't even know where JJ's been, probably somewhere in a different continent. But you both have this convergence around grid work and working with the grids of the earth. I was wondering where your approaches converge around how you both approach this work that you're doing energetically as a planetary service in that way.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, you start us off and then I'll kind of piggyback on your framework. Teach me your ways and then we'll compare notes.
Oh, I think that there's many ways to be a great worker.
Yeah.
And I know that for people who will be listening today and will discover this incredible conversation, many people will identify as a great worker. It is something that has been embedded at the soul blueprint for so many, many beings, whether it's a time of Atlantis, Lemuria, Atlantis, Egypt, Babylonia. I mean, it's the great work have always been there. Await as a galactic being experiencing a human form. So you have to forgive me, everything is a galactic perspective for me. And this is my profound nature. We're looking at opportunities to allow that natural organic evolution of the grids. So grids is this beautiful, almost like energetic field that interconnect all life. Okay, this is ultimately all the ecosystem of life on this planet that you know as the Earth. She's known as Mother Terra. She's known as Villa Tropa. She's known as many names. But her essence, also known as the consciousness of Gaia, we have seen her body or her energy body being really moving through different changes, whether it's alongside the collective consciousness of human beings, whether it's the consciousness of the animal kingdom, the tree nations, the elemental that also oversee the changes on the planet, whether it's a burst of solar energy coming into the electromagnetic field of the earth, whether it's how the lower astral aspect of the earth is being healed and released and purified. There's movement, there's an expansion, there's new breath for the solar energy coming in, there's new interstellar codes entering also the field of the solar system. And the earth is shifting her body just like your own physical template that is pure energy, that is pure consciousness, is also shifting alongside your conscious awareness. The more you are really tuning in and living into the heart, higher mind connection, you see the profound changes in you. The way you perceive your reality, the way you become a really very, I would say, aware and loving observer, as well as you are participating in a new form of co-creation. Well, the earth is responding in that co-creation along with you because everything is interconnected. So when the Earth is in the presence of many enlightened intergalactic beings. What we do is that we constantly shift and transmit love light frequencies, very pure frequencies of light, towards the body of the Earth, will in turns is integrated into the grids of the planet. Think of it as the nodes of the planet, the nervous system of the planet. And of course, is reflecting in your body, in everyone's body. Everything interconnects. Even the Three Nations will bring these codes and transmit into their root systems. The Horse Nation is to the heartbeat. Did you know that? The Horse Nation communicate to the heartbeat. Because they're very advanced beings, they're very high vibrational beings.
Beat of Earth.
The heartbeat of Earth and the heartbeat of each other. Yes, horses can communicate to each other this way. So we always include all life because you are part of this universe bursting with intelligence at different stages of evolution. But the growth of your planet is moving. And I'll give you an example. Last year we were in Germany, the south of Germany. This Renaissance, we were staying in a castle, literally. And my husband and I were staying in that room, and our bedroom were literally in a tower. So I feel like I was in a movie, like, with my hair going down and Rapunzel, my prince is coming. It was really something. But what we were there for was to help to release a very depleted, very wounded, and very fragmented grids. And when we arrived, I saw blue imprints, memories. The tree was telling me stories of what took place during World War II, for example, or afterwards, or the ripple effect of it. Our role was here to release, almost like, imagine like taking off this old grid that is completely depleted, and we are bringing in a new level. And the code that came in is more than codes. It's the vibrational and the consciousness of everyone who gathered that day during the retreat, who came from everywhere. We have seen generations of people who either had their parents during that time frame, or they grew up in that time frame, or they were born after that time frame. And they all came, and we released thousands and thousands of souls. There was an imprint in the land. And so that completely refreshed around the world the grid's energy. There was no longer carrying the circumstances, the wound, the energy of that one particular era. We saw something very similar in Egypt the year before that, where finally there's a realignment where naturally the cosmic archives, the cosmic light archives, will be able to resurface, connecting to Uluru with the Pleiadian crystal grid there. Everything is coming together. So every time, whether it's my group, your group, or people around the world feel the calling, and I'm a grid worker, you know that this is part of what you come to do the soul level. And that grid is what's unified all of us. It's what brings us together. And that grid is a domino effect into the ultimate universal grid. It's not just on a planet. It's a multitude of moving parts.
Yeah, it ripples out.
It ripples out much further than we realize. And that's the beauty of it. Know that you make a difference. So if you feel calling to be a grid worker, do it.
Yeah.
Connect. And let the mighty forces of light be with you. And it's quite phenomenal.
Yeah.
And we can talk on and on, but just in a nutshell. In a nutshell.
That was a great nutshell. That was a great nutshell.
Beautiful.
Very
Now
similar
comparing
thing. Yeah.
notes.
Well, very similar
Let's
things have
compare.
happened. I mean, I have a million stories. Very similar things. Very similar things. As you were talking, I wanted to really refine something into like the most succinct way to say it. And it's funny because it goes back to what we were talking about with kids. I was immediately getting the thing. It's about relationship. It's about our relationship with Gaia, but also our relationship with the different kingdoms. In other words, the animals, the plants, the rocks, all the beings that make up Gaia. And we're a part of that. So it's literally reconnecting with, communicating with, honoring. For us, it's been a lot of witnessing, which is essentially what was happening for you. You were seeing this thing and you were like, we see you. And when you witness, what happens is something really powerful. Because a lot of people are like, oh, I got to fix. What am I doing? I don't know. Like, yeah, just follow your heart. And when you have enough of an ability to communicate with the consciousness of the planet and the consciousness of a rock, a tree, an area, whatever it is, then you know how to serve, you know how to see, and you know how to expand your heart. And it's like there's just, we keep saying the word organic. It just organically happens. That's one thing I think a lot of people have a misconception about grid work. Like, I need a list, I need a checklist, I need to figure out how to do this. It's like, no, just let it unfold organically. So that's how we see it.
Do you both perhaps see a specific grid point on Earth right now that needs a little bit more love and attention from the collective and everyone that's tuning in right now? If we were to do like a grid work here on podcast, where would you center us into?
I see Mount Kailash. Weren't you just in the area? You said you were there? Mount Kailash.
Where is that?
In the Himalayas. It's known as the crown chakra of Gaia. I see Mount Kailash. It's just like an immediate hit. So I don't know about you.
Well, thank you for sharing that. We were in Lumbini, the birthplace of Buddha. But what I saw is I saw the planet, this beautiful blue pearl, as we call her. And I saw it right in the center of Gaia, and I saw her heart. So that's why I saw to bring that energy right in the very heart, the very center of the planet in her consciousness. And I saw multitude of ripple effect going everywhere. And I see a blue orb right now, so my team are agreement. And it's really have a multidimensional effect from bringing the hemisphere together from north to south, west to east, and it went on to multidimensional level. And I saw that spreading. It's almost like, think of it this way. Like, we have this heart-shaped rock and we say, okay, ready? And we throw it in the middle of the largest ocean. And the ripple effect in the system will be felt everywhere. But that's what I saw.
Yeah.
So when you said the crown, I saw the heart right at the heart of the planet herself. And that's what came.
Well, it's interesting now because you're saying that, and I'm like, I see a theme that's been coming through for the collective lately is heart-mind coherence. So like, if we see the mind as Mount Kailash and the heart, what you were mentioning, is also bringing and reflecting the fact that humanity is beginning to bring into better coherence or more coherence the heart and the mind.
So let's do something to really end this transmission in a really powerful way. We've never done this before.
Okay.
But JJ and I, in our other conversations, we've talked a lot about co-activation. So I'm wondering if now with that convergence of these gridwork points, we would want to do a co-activation to end this transmission, and maybe you both can guide us and lead us through that together if you're open to it.
Yeah, of course, I'm open to it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think what I would love to contribute is just like opening with some language of light. So just bringing that through. Maiti shotokoyare niyahia. Maishoku uya. I'm just feeling guided to invite everybody who is co-creating this field to take a deep breath and feel into their very own heart center. Yashotokoya. Maidetu ushiana ikitere e darai. And also feeling the presence of the waters of the planet coming forward as like an element to support what we do today. Shoko inarai hiatokoreya. And then I'll pass it to Vivian.
And as you keep breathing peacefully, please understand that many of us are here transmitting the essence of who we are. When it's a form of light language, keynotes, wording, transmission, we are sharing the innermost aspect of our beings with you. And to feel right into the very core of your center, known as the crystalline core of your solar plexus, in divine relations to the heart center, naturally opening your divine communication, the center of all languages, to your throat, and expanding to your crown, allowing yourself to understand that it's time for all of us to return into unity consciousness. We are simply a model, an aspect of the future potential that you already are for the planet, for the solar system, and eventually allowing a natural realignment of the place that you call the Milky Way, this galaxy, with her counter sister in Andromeda. To feel its time more and more, allowing everything to flow with trust in yourself, and to remember more than ever that you are first and foremost an internal being of light, having this temporary physical experience as a human, and you have returned as a grand purpose on behalf of the supreme of all, as we all are part of the prime creator, source infinite, all there is. And we invite you today to breathe deeply into our love, our presence, and to feel that this love also nourishes your roots, your root chakra, your sacral, connecting also to your body energetic ley lines, expanding into the grids of Gaia, and to feel that is an invitation from all of us to return to be conscious planetary leaders, communicators, and of course, caretaker and conscious guardians for this beloved planet, this beautiful being, in reverence for all life. To feel that, in reverence for all life. And that includes your life. With universal love and universal peace.
I have a song line coming in. That's okay. Me ho e na hi aro me he nai ho e ari nai rai hoa nai hi hai o he. And so it is.
Take a deep breath and just let everything flow. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Emilio, for today and this opportunity. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
It's been very interesting and beautiful and flowing.
Thank you. And just to end off, I have a few questions, rapid fire, to end us with. They're pretty fun.
Always fun, right?
The first one I had for both of you is, if your galactic self could send your human self one text message right now, what does it say?
Oh, I love that. Spontaneously, when I saw, literally, I call it my holographic field, when I saw is breathe, all is well. Like, it's okay. Breathe, all is well. That's what I saw.
Wow.
And that grants me back, like, okay. I feel it. All right, I'm ready to go now.
I love rapid fire questions. I love me some rapid fire questions. Mine are like, oh, because I'm on the other end usually, and I'm like having everybody answer, but be free. That's the words I saw immediately in my holographic text. It was like, be free, period. Yeah.
If you could have dinner with any being or group of beings in the galaxy, who is it and who are they and what would you ask them?
It's a really good question. I like that. So many possibilities.
A lot. One part, I think it's my inner child. My inner child was like immediately like the Elohim, the architects, like the architects of this experiment, or there's something about the ones who created the architecture, which is technically us, but that's what I got. The Elohim. Yeah.
What would you ask them?
Oh. Help me understand how this experiment or creation was an extension of your desire to play. Yeah.
I've always found interesting the word play, especially how it is interpreted here.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to me. So for the answer this beautiful fire question, I would say I would like to have a dinner with what we refer to into my supreme higher self. It's the higher self that resides into the second plane of existence. We all have that. Anyone, there's no exception. So you have your higher self in what's called the physical plane of existence that guides you here. But you have also this, what we refer to your supreme higher self, that is in the second plane of existence. It is the non-physical. And I have met that aspect of myself once. And it's like, I can't believe it was me. It was just beyond words. I like to go back to that place of myself and ask that part of me, please help me remember even more the full majestic of who I am, so I can help guide others remember the same about themselves. This is what I feel in my heart. I can feel very,
Yeah.
Last one I had for both of you today is there something that humanity carries that even the most ancient galactic beings are here to learn from us?
So if you allow me clarification, so if I understand correctly, which I kind of do, I like that direction, it's what human beings will have, what you have that can teach even the, okay.
Basically.
Okay. I love that.
Pretty slow.
No, I love that.
Fasting stuff.
I want to make sure. I love this because it's insane. I love this. Okay.
Mine's making me laugh. I gotta say mine. They said grit.
Grit. I love that.
I could feel like this stubborn, like stick to it attitude. So they're like, grit. Humanity has grit.
Yeah.
For us, one of the things we love the most about human being is your capacity for your compassion, your capacity to truly love, and your compassion makes you very unique, and it's something reflecting into the living aura of every human beings, only when they choose to really feel it and embrace that part of humanity. Your capacity for compassion is incredible, which attracts many of us, by the way. And we can see that energy every day coming to the planet. So for us, that would be that.
Yeah. I can see a t-shirt. Grit plus love equals humans.
Yeah. Grit and compassion.
And guidance of perspective.
This has been such a powerful dynamic, you two. I just wanted to honor both of you. What a way to start off the New Living Expo.
Incredible.
Excited to journey in the next few days with both of you, and also where more of these convergences happen, because I feel like we are also giving out a example and a template to others that can start having more of these conversations. So if anything, this is like us walking through the door and inviting more of these types of conversations. And thank you both for the beautiful perspectives you both shared. Love you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, both of you. Also,
Thank you very much.
super fun.